Anton was a part of our first MetFix group. And so this is group number 2, and we're doing things a little bit differently. We're going to just basically have this first week as like a MetFix only class to introduce you guys to movements and really dive in deep about nutrition, okay? So we have class Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then after that, you guys are more than welcome to come to any classes. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to host nutrition check-ins with you guys weekly. And I will get back to you on a time and how you're going to do that. It'll be virtually through Zoom. Okay. So we can check in and be talking more about this throughout your next 3 months. If you stick with us for 3 months, our hope is when you guys came in here, some of you were on medication, some of you wanted to lose weight, some of you just wanted to feel better. And that is our hope, that you guys can see a noticeable difference in 3 months from now, okay? So we're gonna start today by talking about macronutrients. And Anton, this is gonna be really familiar to you because we've talked about it before. But every single food that you eat gets broken down into 3 different groups, and we call those groups macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbs. And I made a list of each of your proteins, fats, and carbs here, okay? So your proteins come from like animal sources, like chicken, fish, steak, beef. I put protein shakes in there as well. Fats would be like animal fat, avocado, nuts, and seeds. And then your carbohydrates would be fruits and vegetables. And then also your processed carbs, which are like chips, breads, donuts, cookies, brownies. The list would go on and on. A lot of foods fall into both categories, like proteins and fats, or carbohydrates and fats. But I just put them in the category that typically most of the calories come from that category, okay? If you're thinking like, what even is a processed carb? When I say processed carbohydrate, I'm talking about the foods that you find on the inside of the grocery store, okay? The foods that you cannot hunt or grow yourself, okay? Those are processed carbs or processed foods in general. So our goal at CrossFit is to get you to eat a diet of meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. That's our goal. That is very hard to do 100% of the time. But if you can get to a point in life where you are doing that 80 to 90% of the time, you're gonna be healthier than 95% of Americans, okay? Probably, yeah, even more, 99% of Americans, okay? We are in an epidemic right now, and it is an epidemic of obesity, and we get there by overconsumption of processed carbs, right? Here. Our society glorifies that. You go to a party, there's cookies and brownies. You go to work, this is there all the time in the work break room or what have you. If you want to give your kids a special treat, it's this, right? We have to get our mindset away from that because we're just poisoning ourselves and our children. I'm going to get a little bit more into what chronic disease is tomorrow, but today I want to talk a little bit and focus my efforts on this carbohydrate category, okay? So have you guys ever heard of like the glycemic index? No, some of you? Every food or every carbohydrate falls between 0 and 100 on this glycemic index chart, okay? And basically your high processed foods or your simple carbohydrates are gonna be higher on that graph than your whole foods, like your fruits and vegetables. Even though those are carbohydrates, they're a lower glycemic index food. And what I mean by that is there's 2 different types of carbs: simple carbs and complex carbs. Your complex carbs are your long chain molecules. So super long, that's like a molecule of a fruit or a vegetable, okay? Long chain. It takes your body a long time to break them down in your system. So when they enter your body, your blood sugar, let's just say this is 0 and this is 100. If you're eating an apple or a green bean, it doesn't spike your blood sugar as high as if you ate a simple carb, like a cookie or a brownie or a donut, okay? And the reason that is because simple carbs are short chain molecules. They break down in your body super fast. It's a quick energy source, very, very, very fast. And so it spikes your blood sugar very fast as well. Does that make sense? I lost my train of thought. So what we are trying to do is decrease our simple carb intake and not necessarily increase your complex carb, but focus more on our proteins and fats, okay? It's kind of like a car engine. If you constantly go from a 0 to 100, 0 to 100, 0 to 100 in your car, what's gonna happen? Blow the engine. Our bodies are engines. If we constantly are eating this, we're gonna blow the engine, okay? It's gonna happen. We're gonna end up with heart disease. We're gonna end up with type 2 diabetes. We're gonna end up, the list goes on and on and on. Hypertension, all the things, okay? Those are lifestyle choices that we can avoid or we can reverse if you're already there, okay? Just by switching and being more mindful of our carbohydrate intake. A thing I want you guys to focus on just for this week is anytime you eat a food that has a nutrition fact label on it, I want you to look and see how much added sugar is in that food. If you don't take anything away from today's conversation, I want it to be that. Just look and see how much added sugar is in your food, okay? It's insane how like marketing, it'll be like healthy food or high protein food. And you look at the back of the nutrition fact label and there's like 20 grams of added sugar in it. Just be mindful of that, okay? So Brett put up a little diagram here earlier today. He's been tracking his blood glucose, and his baseline is like somewhere around 100. So you can see every time he eats, it's pretty consistent at 100. There, over the course of like a day, this was like an example, and his blood glucose levels raised to 164, then it returned to baseline, and then it raised to 154, but then it crashed. You can see how it crashed, and then it returned to baseline, okay? What do you think these two things were from? He ate 2 cookies, but when do you think he ate the cookies? This 154 was when he ate the cookies. Do you see how he crashed after? This was actually from working out. Yeah. You know why? Because in order to work out, your body needs energy. And its energy is created, or the energy that he's using is glucose in his body. So there was glucose in his body that needed to be used. Super high in blood sugar was raised in order to create, basically in order for him to work out, okay? But the important part is it returned to base level. If you eat the processed carbs, you're gonna crash, and that's why you experience that crash. With that being said, exercise raised his glucose levels. Carbohydrates is glucose. It's a form of sugar. Glucose enters your body. Every single time you eat a carbohydrate, it breaks down in your body as sugar. That's all. That's what you need to remember, okay? Glucose is a form of sugar. Protein and fat do not ever break down as sugar. So you could only eat a diet that consists of protein and fat and eliminate carbs completely, and your body would naturally produce that, and that shows with his workout, right? Eat a diet of protein, fats, limit your carbohydrate intake, and weight will literally melt off of you. It's hard. Simple in theory, difficult in execution, right? What's the most difficult part of that for you guys?
Not snacking.
Not snacking. What do you snack on?
Carbs.
Yeah. We all do, right?
I have time management to have everything prepared. I don't have a problem with eating like healthy and everything I need to, but it's the making time to get it all ready.
Absolutely. You know, Brett and I, it is hard. And if you put the time into it at the beginning of the week, then you actually find yourself having more time the rest of the week. You know, what we do is we meal prep, and we'll get into this discussion, but I'm sure Anton has told you about it. Do you guys meal prep, Anton? Yeah, that's right. But we cook 15 pounds of meat at the beginning of our week. Last night we were just on the Blackstone. It takes 30 minutes. Very little prepping. Our meat for at least 4 days is cooked for us. Now all we have to do is throw a little bit of vegetables in there, throw a little bit of fruit, whatever we're gonna eat with it. Super easy, very convenient, right? It's already. It will save us time in the long run because we don't have to cook now for 4 days. Do we have to cook a little bit extra on Sundays? Yeah. But it does save us time in the long run. James, what's your problem with, do you feel like you overconsume carbs, or you,
Absolutely.
yeah?
I just,
What?
there's like so many things that fall into that list of like processed carbs that like, it's ridiculous.
You see an ad for it, you probably shouldn't.
Because like I'm going through my head, I'm like, so what really falls under eating healthy, right? And I can't eat chicken Alfredo. There's noodles there.
Yep.
Fat red piece of shit.
Yeah. Can spiralize those.
I've heard of those. What about rice? Is that bad?
It's a carbohydrate.
On
So-
the spectrum of foods, is it going to be the worst thing ever? No. Is it going to spike your blood sugar? Yes. If you have the choice between that and a cookie, it's probably a better option.
Yeah.
Yep. Good, better, best. Yeah. Better. Is it the best? No.
Yeah, there's so much that has to be cut out. Noodles,
Yeah. And
potatoes.
it's not, we're not asking or telling you to do that all at one time. I would say start with what you said, and every food that you look at the added sugar amount in it. And if it's over 5, you need to replace that with a different item. And it doesn't have to be tomorrow, so if you have a fridge full of shit, so I'm not telling you to throw it all away, that would be ideal, but the next time you go, look at the store and go, oh, this one has less sugar, then maybe that's a better choice.
Yeah.
Or reduce the amount that I'm eating and drinking that thing. And then the next step is let's add some more protein in, because that's going to keep you full longer.
It's definitely not an overnight process. It isn't. And our goal,
We've
correct.
started this process 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. Our goal is to just educate you. Every single one of us, we're still going to eat the, slice of pizza or the cookies, but what we want, you're still going to live life However, what we want you to start to realize is if you're eating that the majority of the time, you can feel so much better if that's the minority of the time. A great example is like, I would say Brett and I probably eat 80% of the time, we eat protein and fats. The other 20% of the time, we are eating the processed carbs like we shouldn't be, okay? There's a noticeable difference when we eat that. Like we ate cookies the other night and we both felt terrible. Like I'm not even kidding. It was awful. But I can't even imagine if you eat that every single day, your body's just used to it. You don't even know how good you can feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it doesn't matter if it's homemade or if you buy it from the store. It's all the same. Like, it really is. There's a huge sourdough kick right now. I'm one of those people. I do cook sourdough, probably cook twice a month with it, freeze a bunch of it so we have it on hand when we want a bagel or something. It's a bread. It's a carbohydrate. It's going to affect you. It breaks down in your body as sugar. So just something to be made aware of. Any more questions for me right off the bat? I don't want to overwhelm you guys right now. Yeah.
How many grams of protein should we shoot for per meal?
Over the course of the day, I would shoot for your ideal body weight in grams of protein. So if you are looking to lose weight and you want to get to, let's just throw out a number, 180, 200, let's just say 200 pounds, you should be eating around 200 grams of protein a day. That's not going to be an overnight fix. But yeah. Have you been tracking your food, Anton?
I usually check my protein that I eat.
Perfect. How much have you been eating?
Probably more than I should be.
It's a, I mean,
Because
that,
I thought it was your grams of protein per meal. So that's what I was trying to shoot for.
so you were eating how many grams of,
Wasn't really.
Well, on
Yes,
average,
that
I
you
eat
thought,
about 80 to 90 grams per meal with 2 chicken breasts. The
Wow.
chicken breast is what, 54 grams of protein.
I think it's at 44.
44, so I eat about 2 breasts for like lunch and stuff, so about 80 to 90.
there, then what do you eat for breakfast and dinner?
Breakfast, because I usually work out, it's just a protein shake.
Okay.
So it's about 32 grams. 32 grams.
Okay. So you're around 102 right there-ish. And then what do you eat for dinner?
Dinner, usually whatever the fresh is, so that is pretty healthy. So that's, I'd probably say that's another 40 grams.
Okay, but that's only 140. You know what I'm saying? You could probably up that
So I got a
protein.
group of more.
Yep, you could up that protein. And I will say, those HelloFresh meals, although they're healthy, they definitely do not provide enough protein. I can say that right off the bat, yeah. Add more protein, yeah. Yeah, do you find yourself ever like snacking at night?
I try not to.
Yeah, but do you feel hungry though still after you eat dinner?
Usually not.
Okay, that's good.
I usually feel that pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I've been working on lowering my portion sizes as far as, like, I don't want to overindulge where I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't function.
Right. But yeah, that would be one thing I would encourage you, maybe up your protein. Because if you eat a little bit more protein, you're gonna stay fuller for longer. So even if you're like saying that you're not snacking yet, in the long term, you might start to get hungrier and hungrier. I would just say up it. You can say that. Yeah. Any other questions? I know I threw a lot at you. If this was new information, tomorrow I'm going to go over a little bit more about like chronic disease and what that means specifically. But for today and the rest of this week, I just want you to be mindful of the added sugar. You don't need to go home and rip everything out in your pantry, okay? We want this to be a slow process so it's sustainable. If you switch everything tonight and you're like, I'm only ever eating chicken, steak, eggs, and vegetables and fruit, that's not realistic, you know? So it's gonna be small changes, and we'll start talking about those in our nutrition check-ins virtually. But for this week, just pay attention to that.
Where do eggs fall?
Protein.
Protein.
Yeah,
Eggs are
protein
great.
Up there, you could
Yeah.
What's a high source of protein that's
So that's not up there?
it's not
Are you vegetarian?
no.
Oh, okay.
But like to eat steak 3 times a day, as much as I would love that, seems pretty unrealistic.
Eggs would be high source of protein. If you like dairy, some people are dairy intolerant, but Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, great source. Cottage cheese. Yeah, but with both of those, you need to be careful about this because they like to sneak it in there and it makes me so mad. You know what? 2 really great brands are Daisy's for cottage cheese. I don't know if it's the E in there. And that for yogurt. Yeah, both of those I know for a fact because that's what we buy, has 0 grams of added sugar. That's what you want. But if you would just go into Kroger, 99% of the time, if you buy like Kroger brand or a lot of the other brands, it has added sugar in them. It's like, why? Why even put it in there? So frustrating. So you always have to look at the nutrition labels, but those for sure don't have added sugar in them. Those would be a great source of protein. Yeah. And quick, like on the go options as well, because typically meat you have to, you don't have to, but most people like it warm. So if you don't have access to like a microwave, cottage cheese, yogurt, easy to throw in a cooler. Yeah. Any other questions? Was that too much for you?
Is lunch meat bad to eat?
It's
Highly processed, right?
It is processed. Good, better, best, right? So would it be better than fast food sandwich? 100%. Is it as good as a chicken breast or steak? No. It's that like good, better, best. I know, I talked to Ann.
Same thing with that. Look at the added sugar, because if you're just grabbing one off the shelf, if it's like the honey roasted or it's kind of got
Added sugar in it. There are a couple good brands though, if you look, that don't have added sugar, and literally the only ingredient is turkey. And that's like, we buy that sometimes when we're on the go quick, like for quick lunches. So just be mindful of that ingredient list. Yeah. Because you were eating that a lot, weren't you, Anton, for lunches, like turkey? Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not the worst. You know, it's a good source of protein. Could it be better? Yes, but it could be so much worse. So not bad. Any other questions? Okay. We'll come back tomorrow. Brett gave you guys a little handout. Want to talk about it? So it's just basically runs down of what your diet should look like. So the bottom of that pyramid is meat. And then it goes into, it's like your meat and dairy, right? And then it's your carbohydrates.
It's basically showing you foods that are lower in sugar, even if it's a natural occurring source. And it's trying to get you to limit your carbohydrate intake to 130 grams or less a day. To be either low carb or ketogenic leaning. If you have a chronic disease, if you're on medication for some sort of chronic disease, the lower you get that carbohydrate number towards 50, the better off you're going to be. The quicker you're going to get out or away from that chronic disease. So, up there in the top right, it's telling you stuff what not to eat. It's mostly the carbohydrates that she has in that bracket. It's the processed foods, it's James's rice, it's Anton's pasta. Those types of things where it's going to spike your blood sugar. It's basically telling you to stay away from those. And again, it's not what you have to eat 100% of the time. It's just knowing, hey, this is the ideal scenario, and work your way towards that. So.
Any other questions, guys? Okay. Try to stay moving today so those legs don't tighten up too much. We'll see you back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a great rest of your day, guys.
Thank
On Wednesday, if you guys want to come to another class, you're more than welcome to
Yeah.
do that. So don't think you have to take Wednesday off if you want to come in and just move by.
Yeah, absolutely.